Tom Cruise and his guy in the chair on the greatest mission of the history of missions. Tom, in stealth mode, enters the enemy building while the guy in the chair is telling him to follow CCTV guards and stuff. Cruise enters the server room, inserts his chip, and boom! CCTV sensors, elevator, and everything electronic in the building is now in the hands of his guy in the chair. Hacking web pictures. The name itself is as interesting as it may seem, and as for nobody's expectation, it is as simple to explain as hard to implement. Stegosploit, steganography plus exploit delivery. Starting on with the more interesting term, steganography, which simply means hiding data or information in plain sight which may or may not be encrypted. Meaning we have stuff on board but we don't know it's there since it's on such plain sight that it doesn't arouse suspicion. Second term is exploit. In layman's terms, let's just say it is virus. Joining the words back, we get Stegosploit. So, Stegosploit is a technique which delivers an exploit hidden in a file to a web browser whose presence is unknown and doesn't raise any suspicion either. Breaking it down into steps, how it's done. Let's start with taking our exploit, which is written in JavaScript. The exploit is now embedded into the pixels of an image using an encoder. So we get an image embedded with loops of multiplication and simple math operations forming a string which doesn't arise any suspicion. Now for the exploit to come out of the pixels of the image, we need a decoder. And that decoder is your web browser. Because the web browser can decode anything JavaScript. So if that image opens up in a browser, they've got both the decoder and the image containing virus, collectively called polyglot. This polyglot is delivered to the browser, and this is what will cause the browser to get compromised. Now the question arises, what does it mean by being compromised? It doesn't mean that the person on the other side will be able to control your browser, but it will give that guy in the chair the access to the browser's cookies. Browser's cookies are not something edible, of course, but simply a name given to a database which serves various purposes, and the most important being storing your username and passwords. And for a side note, I'd say when websites ask you to allow cookie access, don't. They require it for giving you a better user time experience, but they also get access to your passwords, which is why I never allow if possible or block that requesting pop-up every time. I suggest doing the same. Coming back. Now when I say storing passwords, it must have already made it clear that your bank account, social media account might all go into hands of some third party just because you opened up photo of a cute little puppy in your browser. Now I specifically said might because just knowing the password and username is not enough. Let me explain. So when you enter your Facebook account, your password details stay in the cookies as long as you're logged in. As soon as you log out, the cookie gets updated automatically. So if Stegosploit enters after that, it may find only the username. Obviously, that's nothing to worry about. But you might have noticed that every time you log in somewhere, the browser prompts you to save the password for future logins. And if you do save it, the login details are now permanently stored in the cookies and can be accessed anytime. Of course, you can delete those cookies manually. Still, knowing that password is not enough. Yes, still. Because that password is not the actual passcode. If you operate internet banking, you must have noticed that as soon as you press login, the number of bullets appearing as password increases. No, this is not a bug. Actually, what happens is that every website with a login requires a few characters adjoining the password. It may be few characters or an algorithm making those characters change every time. That password stored in the cookies also contain those adjoining characters. So the hacker needs to decode those adjoining characters to get the original one. And yes again, if Tom Cruise's guy in the chair can access those cookies via the pen drive or a remotely controlled chip and can decode those codes, it's certainly possible to do so in real world. Cybersecurity researchers like Somen Shaw started studying about ways to prevent it in the year 2010. In 2015, this technique finally showed up, which is when I came to know about it, but still, the researchers didn't have any solution. So technically, one may assume that we're talking 4 years obsolete. That's not the case, my friend, as there hasn't been any way to detect these type of attacks. The viral piece of photo you just shared might be something whole lot more threatening. Or even if you've shared a very normal screenshot from your mobile device, you might never know if there's privacy breach and some third party reached to that screenshot while you were sending it to your friend, where they might have embedded a Stegosploit. So, what makes this Stegosploit so untraceable? First, it cannot be traced by network traffic as it's actually just an image. Secondly, the distortion in the images is so nominal that human eye can detect it, which is because the distortion or the aberration is not everywhere in the photo, only at parts. So think of it this way, just like when a sketch artist makes a sketch, he first puts on one pencil shade at once and then adds up the next one on it. The same way, the virus is embedded at some particular shade of that photo. Thirdly, the image when opens up in a browser, it doesn't run under the image tag but as a separate URL. So the browser automatically decodes that hyperlink and hence the pixels and eventually the exploit. Before concluding the video, it's very essential to know what exactly is an exploit. An exploit is not a virus. It's a sequence of commands which take advantage of a bug to cause unanticipated behavior to occur in a computer, software, hardware, or something electronic. It's like a king which forces the system to do things as per its instructions, and these instructions are called malicious codes. An exploit is basically made up of these codes which gets decoded by the browser automatically. So that's how simple as it gets. Now, maybe it's safe to say that you should avoid sending good morning photos.